Let's get right into it. Number 10. The Goosebump Graveyard. Imagine you're chilling on the couch, watching a horror movie so bad it's good, when suddenly, a shiver runs down your spine. Your arms erupt in a prickly landscape of tiny mountains, and for a split second, you look like a plucked chicken. Congratulations, you've just experienced horripilation, or as the cool kids call them, goosebumps. Now, why does your sophisticated 21st century body still pull this ancient party trick? Because, way back when, your ancestors were less Netflix and chill and more chase a mammoth or be a mammoth's lunch. We were a furrier bunch then. When cold, those tiny muscles at the base of your hair follicles, the Arrector Pili, would contract, making your fur stand on end. This created a layer of insulating air, like a built-in puffer jacket, and when threatened, those same hairs would fluff up, making you look bigger and more intimidating to whatever saber-toothed tiger was eyeing you for dinner. Think about it. A fluffy human trying to scare off a predator. It's adorable. Really. The problem is, we shed most of that glorious fur somewhere between grunting and inventing sliced bread. So now, when you're cold, or a particularly catchy song drops the bass, your body's still out here trying to puff up non-existent fur. It's like your nervous system is stuck in a time loop, constantly preparing for a fur coat fashion show that got cancelled about 100 years ago. Basically, your body's still rocking a dial-up modem in a fiber optic world. Number 9. The Appendix. Nature's lint trap. You're cruising along, living your best life, when suddenly, your lower right abdomen decides it's going to host an uninvited, incredibly painful party. Chances are, your appendix, that charming little worm-shaped pouch dangling off your large intestine, has decided to inflame itself into a medical emergency. Why do we even have this thing? Seriously, what's its job? Besides being a ticking time bomb of agony, for the longest time, scientists scratched their heads, collectively shrugging and saying, "Dunno, probably just a leftover." It was the equivalent of finding a random, forgotten button on your remote control that does absolutely nothing. Some theories suggest it was once a fermentation chamber for digesting tough plant matter back when our diet was less kale smoothie and more random twigs. Others propose it's a safe house for beneficial gut bacteria, a cozy little bunker where good microbes can hide out during bouts of diarrhea. So, when your gut goes full, Niagara Falls. Your appendix is supposedly the VIP lounge where the friendly flora regroup. But let's be real, for something that can literally burst and try to kill you. Its benefits seem underwhelming. It's like having a smoke detector that occasionally catches fire. You're left wondering if the benefits truly outweigh the potentially fatal organ-bursting part of the equation. Number 8. The vestigial wiggle muscles. Ever tried to wiggle your ears? Go on, give it a shot. Some of you are probably doing it right now, looking utterly ridiculous. And for most of you, absolutely nothing is happening. Yet, tucked away on the sides of your head are tiny, mostly useless muscles called the auricularis. These are the evolutionary leftovers of a time when our ancestors needed to swivel their ears independently, like a radar dish, to pinpoint the rustle of a predator in the bushes or the squeak of a tasty rodent. Think of a cat or a deer, their ears are constantly rotating, giving them a 360-degree auditory awareness that would make a surveillance expert weep with envy. Our ancestors had that superpower. We, on the other hand, traded it for, well, a bigger brain capable of inventing podcasts. So now, these muscles are just chilling, doing precisely squat. It's like having a steering wheel in your car that only turns the cup holder. They're technically there. They could do something. But evolution decided we didn't need to hear a mosquito buzzing behind us with pinpoint accuracy anymore. We mostly just need to hear the microwave ding. So, the next time you fail spectacularly at wiggling your ears, just remember, it's not your fault. It's evolution's way of saying, we thought this would be cool. But then we got distracted by opposable thumbs. Number 7. Wisdom teeth. the Jawbone Jumble. Ah, wisdom teeth. Just the name conjures images of swollen cheeks, throbbing pain, and a diet consisting solely of lukewarm soup. These notorious late bloomers are your third set of molars, typically making their grand, often painful, entrance between the ages of 17 and 25, and for many of us, their arrival is less about gaining wisdom and more about gaining a new level of dental misery. Why do we even have these inconvenient chompers? Well, picture our ancient ancestors. Their diets were rough, literally. We're talking uncooked roots, tough meat, and probably a whole lot of grit and dirt that gradually wore down their teeth. Having an extra set of molars erupt later in life was a brilliant evolutionary backup plan, ensuring they could keep chewing well into their golden years. Plus, their jaws were generally larger, accommodating these extra grinders with ease. Fast forward to modern humans, our diets are soft. We cook our food, we cut it up, and we barely give our teeth a workout. Combine that with a gradual evolutionary trend towards smaller jaws, less chewing, less need for massive jaw muscles, and suddenly, those late arriving molars have nowhere to go. They erupt impacted, sideways, or partially, causing pain, infection, and often a forced eviction by an oral surgeon armed with a drill and a sense of humor. It's like trying to park a monster truck in a compact car spot. It just doesn't fit, and someone's going to get hurt. Number 6. The plantar grasp reflex. Primate pinky toes. Ever gently stroke a baby's foot. Go on. If you have one handy, you'll notice their tiny toes curl inwards and grasp, almost as if they're trying to hold onto your finger for dear life. This isn't just a cute baby trick, it's called the plantar grasp reflex, and it's a direct evolutionary hand-me-down from our primate ancestors. Imagine a baby monkey. What's the first thing it needs to do? Cling to its mother for survival, often with all 4 limbs. Those grasping feet were absolutely crucial for holding on tight as mom swung through the trees or scrambled away from danger. Our human babies, however, are generally not swinging from chandeliers, at least. Not intentionally. They're swaddled, in strollers, or safely cradled in your arms. Yet, their little feet still come pre-programmed with this powerful, if now mostly useless, grasping ability. It usually fades after the first year as babies learn to stand and walk. But for a brief period, your infant is basically a miniature, less hairy version of a baby orangutan, ready to scale the nearest bookshelf with their prehensile toes. It's a charming, albeit slightly inconvenient, reminder that deep down, we're all still just a bunch of fancy apes, trying to get a grip on things. Number 5. The Coccyx, your tailbone's last stand. If you've ever landed awkwardly on your backside, you're intimately familiar with the coccyx, that little triangular bone at the very bottom of your spine. And if you have, you know it hurts like a mother. It's often referred to as your tailbone. And that's precisely what it is. The vestigial remains of a tail. Yes, you heard that right. Millions of years ago, your ancestors were rocking a full-on tail, complete with wagging potential and the ability to aid in balance while scampering through trees. Think of it as a 5th limb, a magnificent evolutionary accessory that allowed for incredible agility and arboreal acrobatics. But as we evolved to walk upright, that balancing act became less about a swishy appendage and more about a strong core and big old glutes. The tail became redundant, a casualty of bipedalism. Over millennia, it gradually receded, leaving behind only the coccyx, a bony stub that serves little purpose other than to remind you of your primate lineage every time you fall down the stairs. It's the evolutionary equivalent of having a little, non-functional antenna sticking out of your head, a relic of a past when we needed to tune into very different biological signals. So, the next time you feel a dull ache in your tailbone, just picture your great-great-great-great-great-grand something swinging through the jungle, totally unfazed by a little bump on the behind. Number 4. Male nipples. The unsung heroes of nothing. Alright, gentlemen, let's talk about those 2 little bumps on your chest that have absolutely zero biological purpose after birth. Yes, I'm talking about male nipples. Females use them for lactation, a vital function for nourishing offspring. Males, not so much. So, why do we have them? It all boils down to how we're made in the womb. Every human embryo starts off on a default female blueprint. For the first few weeks, regardless of whether you're destined to be a boy or a girl, your development is identical. Nipples form during this early, undifferentiated stage. It's only later, around the 6 to 8 week mark, that a crucial event occurs. If a Y chromosome is present, a cascade of hormonal signals kicks in, leading to the development of male sex organs. But by then, the nipples are already there, fully formed and ready to, well, do nothing in particular. They're like the appendix of the torso, a harmless, vestigial structure that just kind of hangs out because it was part of the original design brief. It's an evolutionary shortcut, a cost-saving measure in the grand scheme of biological development. Why bother developing a separate, nipple-less blueprint for males when you can just slap a Y chromosome on the existing one? It's efficient, sure, but it does leave us with a permanent, slightly puzzling reminder of our early embryonic equality. Basically, your body started building a house, put the windows in, and then decided if it was going to be a man cave or a she shed. Number 3, the Palmar grasp reflex, tiny fist of fury. Gently place your finger in a newborn's palm. What happens? They clench onto it with surprising strength, often so tightly you can even lift them slightly. This is the Palmar grasp reflex, and much like its foot-based cousin, it's another evolutionary throwback to our tree-dwelling days. Imagine a tiny primate baby clinging to its mother's fur as she leaps from branch to branch. A strong, innate grasping ability was the difference between life and a very unfortunate fall. Our human ancestors, even before they fully committed to walking upright, were still spending a significant amount of time in trees, and their infants needed to hold on for dear life. So, those powerful little hands, capable of an iron grip, were absolutely essential for survival. Today, your baby isn't swinging through the urban jungle or clinging to your back while you forage for berries. Yet, for the first few months of life, they come equipped with this primal grip. It's a fascinating glimpse into our deep past. A reminder that your cuddly little bundle of joy shares a direct biological lineage with creatures that lived entirely among the leaves. It's a reflex that fades as voluntary motor control develops, making way for things like, actually holding a spoon or waving bye-bye. But for a brief, glorious period, your infant could theoretically hang from a clothesline using just their hands. Don't try it, though. Seriously. Number 2, the Plica Semilunaris, your inner corner's oddity. Take a good look in the mirror, specifically at the inner corner of your eye. See that tiny, pinkish fold of tissue? That's your Plica Semilunaris, also affectionately known as the third eyelid or nictitating membrane. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. A shrunken, largely non-functional remnant of an eyelid that's pretty common in other animals. Birds, reptiles, and even some sharks have a prominent, translucent third eyelid that sweeps horizontally across the eye. Its purpose: to protect and moisten the eyeball without obstructing vision, especially useful for creatures that fly at high speeds, dive underwater, or live in dusty environments. It's basically a built-in windshield wiper for their eyeballs. Our primate ancestors likely had a more developed version. But as our vision became more focused and our primary eyelids evolved to be more effective at blinking and protection, the third eyelid gradually receded. Now, it's just a tiny, quirky fold in the corner of your eye, doing absolutely nothing except perhaps collecting a bit of sleep crust. It's a silent, almost invisible monument to a time when your ancestors needed a little extra eye protection from, presumably, low-hanging branches or particularly enthusiastic pterodactyls. So, the next time you spot it, give a silent nod to your reptilian and avian forebears. They truly knew how to blink in style. Number 1, the Arrector Pili muscles, stubborn hair raisers. Remember those goosebumps we talked about earlier? Well, Let's get up close and personal with the tiny, microscopic culprits behind that utterly useless phenomenon. The Arrector Pili muscles. These are the smooth muscles, one attached to each and every hair follicle on your body. And when stimulated by cold or fear, they contract, causing the hair to stand erect. For our furry, distant ancestors, this was genius. Raising their fur created an insulating layer of air to trap heat. Like a built-in down jacket, it also made them look bigger and more formidable when faced with a snarling predator, turning a scrawny early hominid into a slightly less scrawny, slightly more terrifying early hominid. Think of a cat bristling its fur when spooked, same principle, but way more effective because, you know, fur. Now, fast forward to you, a relatively hairless modern human. Your Arrector Pili muscles are still there, diligently trying to fluff up your non-existent coat whenever you step out into a chilly breeze or watch a jump scare in a horror movie. They contract with all their might, pulling your individual hairs upright, creating those characteristic goosebumps, and achieving absolutely nothing in terms of insulation or intimidation. You don't suddenly transform into a fearsome, fluffy beast when you're cold. You just look like you've been caught in a sudden draft, which, ironically, is probably what happened. These muscles are a prime example of an evolutionary feature that simply never got the memo that our exterior design changed. They're like an old, reliable alarm system that still goes off every time a tumbleweed blows by. Even though the house is now made of glass, your body's still got the mechanism. It just lost the user manual for the being covered in a thick pelt part. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them,